Okay, we're going to do a little, just a little tutorial on maybe doing a light sheen and how we could do a little light streak that goes across a graphic. So I'm going to use this claw from the Weber logo animation as an example. Command N for new composition. I'm going to do the 1920 by 1080 2997, just your HD TV 1080 2997 preset. This doesn't need to be very long, so I'm just going to make it 5 seconds. Alright, so I'm just going to drop this down on here. Boom. Really small, right? That's the nice thing about vector graphics is I can scale this up and make it full screen. And then if I click on this continually rasterize or the redraw button there on that column, that will continually rasterize that graphic so that it'll always be sharp and clear. So there was a question about bringing this in, so I'm going to hit Alt-P to add a position keyframe. Hold down Alt and Shift and do my right arrow to nudge that keyframe over 10 frames. And then I'm going to just drag this to the side, hold down Shift to isolate the direction horizontally, and that'll bring my animation in. And me, I'm always easing, okay? Just by default, I hit Function F9 to add some easing, and then with that keyframe still activated, Command Shift K, and I at least go to 70 and 70. Okay, that's just my default. Depending on how quick I want it to whip in, I might go to 80 or 90 even. So anyway, there's that. So it comes in to place, and then you wanted it to stay there.
So yeah, it's stayed for a minute, but it's also got the spotlight on it.
Okay, so we're gonna make it a 3D layer. All right, so we'll make a 3D layer, and then we'll make a new light. Do a spotlight, cone angle. Let's preview this so we can see what it's going to look like. Oops. I'm going to turn the lights off too. Okay, so cone angle, cone feather. I usually like to turn that up a little bit more. Oh, I can't preview it yet. All right, so there's my light. I'm just going to back that off a little bit so I can see a little more of it. Okay. All right, now you wanted to have like a little light sheen kind of shimmer across it, right? All right, so what I would do right now, there's a couple of different ways you could do that. For me right now, what I'm going to try and do is duplicate the claw. Okay, so I'll have a copy of it. This is one method, and that would be adding a fast blur, because fast blurs render fast, and then create something like that. Now I want this to be a shimmer that goes across, so what I'm going to do is go to my material options for this duplicated layer and not have it accept lights. Okay, so it's not going to have any of that fall off to the side. Then to make this add brightness to the image, I'm going to go to toggle switches modes, and under my blend mode make it an add. Okay, so then it's adding light to it. Then what I would maybe do is select the top claw layer, and if you want to rename this, you know, just call it shimmer claw or whatever. I'm going to hit Q to activate my rectangle tool and draw a rectangle around it like that. And then I'm going to animate this mask just to have the mask sweep across the claw. Typically your shimmers are going to go across at an angle. Maybe like that. Maybe turn up the feather on that a little bit. F for feather will bring up my feather options. Then I can feather that slightly. And then, so they come on together, but now I want to animate the mask. So I'm going to hit M for mask and add a keyframe for the mask path. Now if I select this keyframe, the entire mask will be selected, and I'm going to move that. Which way do I want the shimmer to go? Down or up? Down? I wanted it to go right to left. I'm going to go down just because. Alright. So that's my first keyframe, so I need to advance my playhead forward. I don't know how fast I want this to go across yet, but I just move it across like that, and then I have this nice little shimmer that'll go across. Okay, so that's one way. That's one way to do it. Another way could be you could try Lightstreak, the plugin Lightstreak, but it might affect the blacks. But let's try it. I'm going to duplicate this comp for my second option and delete the duplicate claw. Let's go to streak, Lightstreak. Start typing that in. Light sweep. Sorry, it's CC Light Sweep. So what this will do is it'll have a little effect that it puts on the edges here. So depending on your background, if I make a solid that isn't black, put that in the back, then I can see my my black logo on top of a gray background. Then if I make this layer 3D, then it'll have that gradient on it from the light also. So the light sweep effect, the edge intensity, that's the edges of the graphic right here. There's an edge thickness, so you can make that a lot thicker. It's kind of like a cross between a bevel and emboss, but it's like putting a mask on the bevel. And then you can change your light intensity and the width of your light altogether.
Is there a reason that wouldn't show up on a graphic? Because that's what I was trying to do, and I couldn't get it to show up in the Illustrator file that I brought in.
Did you put the light sweep directly on the claw? I don't know why it wouldn't show up. So you can keyframe the center of this and have it sweep across this way, which would be kind of cool. Or you can just place the center way off to the side and change the direction of it, have it sweep that way. What I would do is I would start right here, maybe start with my width and my intensity and my thickness and everything right here, and my direction, and then go forward a bit, have this sweep across here, but then go back to halfway through the sweep. Hold on, I'm going to have to add keyframes for all these down here too. Then if I go halfway through the sweep, I can boost the intensity and the width and even the edge thickness maybe, so that as it's going across it looks like it's like gaining some thickness. Maybe drop it down for the beginning and drop it down for the end. So now as it goes across it becomes really big and then goes away. So there's another way to do a light sweep. You can also use the glow effect, but again, it would be really similar to this first one where I used the mask. Instead of doing a blur and an add, I could use the glow effect. Which again, just kind of it does its own thing. Okay, so if you like this better, or the blur effect better, or the light sweep, those are a couple of different ways you can do little light sweeps. Here's another thing. If I put that right in the middle, then what I could do is do my direction and everything, have it all start out at 0, and then have it over the time do like a 180-degree turn, and then add those keyframes again, but then go to the middle and crank them up. And then add lots of easing to the direction. See how that looks. Yeah. It's okay. But yeah. Okay, so there's a few ideas. It was fun. It was fun.